Hey, what's good, my YouTube fam? This your girl Harmony B coming at you with yet another video. But before you do anything else, please make sure you smash that subscribe button and like button, all of that, because you know when I come with content, bitch, we lit. Lighted, period. Alright, so today I am coming at y'all with something different. I don't ever come with story times because I feel like story times are messy. Most people can put two and two together and know who you're talking about. And I'm just not a messy person, so I don't do story times. But this time I want to do a story time because it's just kind of funny. And I was just talking about it to a friend, and I'm just like, you know what, I want to, do the story time, whatever. So today's story time, I'm going to do the time my ex-boyfriend hooked up with my ex-girlfriend, Gil. Yeah. They was together. So I'm trying to make this video really quick because I just recorded a video of this and my phone cut off. Because I'm recording on my phone right now and my phone about to die. So I'm finna try to make this story time real quick. So, okay. So I was like 15 years old when I met this guy. I'm gonna call him Bob. I was 15 years old when I met him. I met him through school and we always have liked each other. Me and Bob ended up hooking up when we was 15. And you know at 15, you real young and you really not taking life serious as far as relationship goes, right? So me and Bob, we didn't stay together long. We was only together for like 2 weeks. Y'all know those little middle school marriages. Marriages. I hope people ain't getting married in middle school. But y'all know those little middle school relationships, they normally don't last long. Some of them do. Some people actually stay together since middle school, high school, but in my case, none of my relationship lasts. That was happening in middle school. So anywho, me and Bob was together in middle school, and like it was just something real quick and simple, right? Real quick and simple. Stayed together 2 weeks, broke it off. Well, yeah, that situation. So me and Bob ended up breaking up when we was like 15. Couple years rolled by. I think I was like 16 or 17 years old. Me and Bob ended up rekindling on MySpace. Y'all know what I'm talking about. MySpace. What's the days? Poppin' lit. So me and Bob ended up rekindling on MySpace, and he hit me up and he was just like, hey, it's been a long time. Are you single? We should link back up again and try this thing out again. So I'm like, yeah, and Bob was cute. Bob was real cute. So I'm like, yeah, we could try it again. So me and Bob ended up trying to rekindle some things again to see if it was going to work. So me and Bob went out, on a few little days, did some grown folks things, hung out for a little while. I think me and Bob was together for like 2 months before we broke up again. So as time went on in the little relationship that me and Bob was in, it was becoming boring because Bob was still young. We like 16, 17 years old. So I think I was like 16, to be honest with you. I was 16. So, he was still in the phase in his life where he wanted to hang out with the homeboys, play football, do all that kind of stuff. He wasn't trying to really be laid up with me, besides being laid up with me when he was ready to be laid up with me. You feel me? Get where I'm coming from? So I basically was like, this is not it. I just told him like that. I called him one day and I was like, look, I feel like you're really cool. I fuck with you. We can always be friends. But this is not it. Like, at 16, I was really mature. I had already 2 kids at the age of 16. So I was really looking for something genuine and a real, true relationship. So the stuff that he was on, that kid stuff, I was not for it. I'm like, you know what? It's just not going to work. You're too young. I mean, this is just not it. And we can always be friends. We can always hang out, We can always link up, but this relationship not going to work. So, he was just like, I feel the same way. Like, I ain't ready to settle down, whatever the case may be. I hope you really find somebody that's good for your children and things like that. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So we ended up stop talking. Like, we just ended it. We never talked again for a little minute. Probably like for a few months we didn't talk. So at this point, I was done with niggas. Like, I was really trying so hard to meet dudes because at the time I was 16. I already had 2 kids. So I was genuinely looking for somebody to settle down with. And every dude that I met was just with that bullshit. Like, they was cheating on me. They was like, they was not for me. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm so sick of niggas. Like, I really want to try something different. So at 16 years old, I was in the grown folks club. Like I was passing for 21 at 16. Like I literally looked so older than what I was at 16. So I was getting into grown people club. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I was getting into grown people club. So I ended up going to a club one night and I met this girl. We was kicking it and vibing all night long. I don't know if it's because she was drunk or what. I didn't drink at the club, but of course they did. So, anywho, she came up to me. I'm gonna call her Chanel. This girl named Chanel, she came up to me and she was like, you cute or whatever. I fuck with you. Like, I fuck with you. And I want to get to know you. Like, you seem like cool people and I want to be your friend. So I gave Chanel my number. We exchanged numbers. The next day, we ended up chopping it up. And, I'm just like, I mean, like, what are you trying to do? And she was like, because I'm like, you was talking all that shit in the club last night. I'm trying to figure out where you coming from. Like, are you gay? Are you bi? Or are you really just genuinely looking for friends? And she was like, no, I fuck with you. Like, I really want to fuck with you. Like, you got kids. You very mature to be your age. So she started running these things through my mind, like playing mind games with me. Like, I can do your body like this, and I can do you better than a man can, and I can love on you like a man never have. And, like, it was just different because I never been with a girl before. So I'm like, okay. So, like, this girl was dead ass taking me on dates and just doing different things to my mind that a man has never did to my mind before. And it's true that a woman can do you a little better than a man can because they know how to treat a woman because, of course, they're a woman. So she was doing some things to my mind. Okay? She was. I'm just put it like that. She was doing some things to my mind. So my mama, she didn't, at that time, my mama did not condone that type of relationship with me. I was 16. Even though I had kids, I was still young. I was still living in her house. I was 16. And my mom was just like, you know what? I'm not about to have you walking around here with a woman. Like, no, it's not gonna go into my house. No. I was so in love with that girl, y'all. Y'all don't even understand. I was so in love with that girl. But my mom was just kind of like, no, like that shit is not gonna ride in my house. So no, it's not gonna go down. So I told Chanel, like, my mom's not having it, and I really didn't. Like, I was dead ass trying to run away with this girl. Like, I was like, you know what, I could pack my kids up, and me and you could just run away and be together. And she was like, no, no. Like, you're still young, and, because I think Chanel was like 21, 22. So she was like, you're still young. You need to listen to your mom, and you really need to, like, just listen to your mom. You live with her. Like, when you get older, hopefully we'll find each other again and we'll see what happened. But, it ended on a very sad note. I ain't gonna lie to you. It ended on a sad note. It really did. And me and her really didn't leave off on bad terms. It really did end on a bad note. But anyway, long story short, a couple months go by and he hits me up, Bob. He hits me up and he's like, hey, how you been? And I'm like, I'm good. Like, you seem happy. He was like, yeah, I met this girl, man. She's my everything, bro. I really love this girl. Like, I think I'm falling in love with her. And, you my friend and I fuck with you. And I really want you to meet her to just kind of, tell me what you think about it. Is she right for me or whatever? So I'm like, I'm that friend that is genuinely happy for my friends when they meet somebody. And I'm like, okay, well, can I talk to her? He was like, no, I want you to meet her in person. So I'm like, you think she'll be cool with that? And he was like, yeah, she real cool. So I'm like, okay, so when am I meet her? He was like, well, yeah, we're supposed to be going to this little kickback tonight. And I think you should come and meet her. And they was going to a kickback at a guy's house that I knew anyway from school. So I'm like, okay. He was like, yeah, the kickback started like 6, come. You'll see her then. So me and my little crew, we packed up and we went to this kickback or whatnot. And so I'm calling him when I get to the kickback and I'm like, where are you? And he was like, oh yeah, we finna pull up. So I guess he had me on speakerphone and she was like, oh, she sound like a girl I know. And she was like, you sound like somebody I know. And I'm like, I don't think you know me. And I was like, what's your name? She ended up giving me a name that she didn't tell me. I guess she was giving me her nickname. And I gave her my nickname because she didn't know my real name. And I didn't know her real name. So I'm like, nah, we don't know each other. So she's like, yeah, we don't. So she was like, yeah, I'll see you when we get to the party because he told me you like his best friend and y'all used to go together when y'all was in middle school and da da da. And y'all was best friends and he told me you was cute. So you, girl, I want to meet you. She was cool. So we get to the kickback and he pull up and he was like, I'm in the, I'm in here, where you at? And I'm like, okay, I'm finna come out. So I come out and I see her. I see her first. And I literally like, my heart dropped because like I told y'all, I was in love with this girl. My heart dropped and I just ran to her and I hugged her so tight. And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And she was like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, Bob invited me to the kickback. She was like, hold on, was you just on the phone with him? I was like, yeah. She was like, bitch. And then he walks up and he was like, he's smiling and stuff, like, how you know it was her? And I'm like, okay, Bob. And I'm laughing and me and her laughing. I'm like, Bob, so you remember the girl I was telling you about, like, that I was in love with that one time we talked on the phone? He was like, yeah. And I was like, this is her. And then he was like, are you serious? And I'm like, yes, this is her. Chanel, this is it. This is the girl. And he was like, I don't know. I think we were both torn because he was in love with her and he knew I used to be in love with her. And it was just like a big mess. And he was like, oh my God, I feel so bad. And I'm like, why? And she was like, why? And I'm like, this is so old. You know what I'm saying? Like, why you feel bad? And he was like, because, you was in love with her and now I'm in love with her. I'm like, yes, continue to be in love with her because I honestly, I can't, I'm still young. I still live with my mom. It's still not going to work. And I moved on from that. Like, yeah, stay with her. And, she was like, I really love him too. Like, we've been kicking it for a minute. I really got feelings for him. I really love him. And she was like, now that me and him are together, how do you feel about it? And I'm like, how am I supposed to feel about it? I'm happy as fuck. Like, I feel like things happen in life for a reason. And it's a reason why things happen. And I'm glad y'all together. Like, let's have fun. Like, I'm glad y'all together. Like, no shade. So, that is the time. This is the time that my ex-boyfriend and my ex-girlfriend hooked up. And they fell in love. And to this day, they are still together. And actually, they have 2 children together, and I'm so happy for them. And it was just a crazy story that I wanted to tell because I was just thinking about it, and the conversation really just came up. So I know this probably wasn't the most exciting story time, but yeah, I have a lot of crazy story times that I'm like really debating if I want to tell because it's crazy, girl. Any story time you want, I probably got it. But yeah, that's the story time of when my ex-boyfriend and my ex-girlfriend hooked up, and yeah, so I really hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said in the beginning of the video, please make sure you subscribe, like, comment, all of that good stuff, because if you don't, then you ain't gonna be lit. Bye.